Well, it's a busy night here in the Bay Area. Of course, the Oakland Coliseum tonight, Game 1 against the Oakland A's. And inside Oracle, it is Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. So plenty of fans on both sides of things as the Mariners hit the skies, hit the road for a very quick 3-game series inside the Oakland Coliseum. As we take a look at the Mariners starting lineup, brought to you by Jack in the Box.
Looks a little bit different without D. Gordon. No Nelson Cruz in the lineup. Gene Segura will move up and hit leadoff. He had been hitting second, hitting leadoff now with D. Gordon going on the DL. Guillermo Heredia moves up. He hits second. And Daniel Vogelbach called back to the big club today. He is going to bat 6th in the lineup. And for Cahill, pretty good ground ball pitcher. He's really pitched well this year. You see just the 1 win, but a 2.79 ERA in 29 innings. He has 32 strikeouts, giving up just 3 home runs this year. And look at the defense. Dustin Fowler is in center field. Matt Chapman really making a name for himself over at third base, and the veteran Jonathan Lucroy will do the catching.
First pitch from Cahill, missing outside for ball 1. We're underway Game 1 of 3. Segura swinging a red-hot bat. For Gene, his last 11 games, 21 hits. The last 11 times out for Gene Segura. Cool 57 degrees here at first pitch. A little bit of a cool breeze as well. And Mike, I know when you were coming over to the ballpark, some rain was in the area at that time.
It was sprinkling a little bit. Wind was blowing around the ballpark, but it's dry.
Cahill off the mound. 1 out.
With Cahill, when things are right for him, you're going to see the ball on the ground quite a bit. His average fastball this year, 91 miles an hour. His best off-speed pitch is his changeup. Opponents hitting 0.91 against his changeup. Also will mix in a curveball and a slider.
News of the day, Daniel Vogelbach recalled, D. Gordon on the disabled list. Daniel DHing today. Nelson Cruz out of the lineup once again. Banged up with an elbow injury. Well, Guillermo Heredia batting second today, and easy to forget that his first year with the Mariners, he actually spent some time at the top of the order, very top of the order. So although he has not hit this high up so far this year, he's been in this position before.
I think it works for the Mariners this year. He's been a little more patient at the plate, taking his walks, playing well, hitting 283 overall with a couple of home runs. And of course, he runs well.
Now, Mike, you mentioned the changeup for Cahill. That has been the great equalizer so far this year for him. I mean, the numbers you mentioned, batting under 100 against the changeup, a pitch he has thrown a ton, and it explains the reverse splits for Cahill this year.
Yeah, it's really been really tough on left-handers. Another ground ball.
2 outs.
I was looking at the numbers for him on his fastball, even in ground ball percentage, almost 70% ground ball off the fastball. And then you throw the changeup in there, which is about 60%. So you're going to see both those pitches quite a bit this evening.
Now, Cahill does not have enough innings to qualify. He's only thrown 29 innings so far. This is his second start since coming off the disabled list with an elbow impingement. But even with that said, were he to qualify, only 4 pitchers would have a better ground ball rate than Cahill right now in the majors. Local product, Mitch Haniger digs in. Went to high school not far from here in San Jose. Now for Mitch, in his limited games here at the Coliseum, 7 previous to tonight in his career, he has loved hitting here. 321 his average, a couple of home runs. Both these teams coming into today with a day off yesterday. Also, both teams coming into the series with some nice momentum. For the Mariners, a season best 8 games over 500. Coming off a 4-2 homestand. Simeon, the shortstop, with the strike to first. Side retired in order on 3 ground ball outs. As usual, we're used to seeing Matt Joyce at the top of this A's lineup.
Jed Lowry hitting 3rd in the lineup. What a year is he having? Hitting .320 with 37 RBIs. Jonathan Lucroy hitting 7th. .488 batting average with a couple of home runs against Mike Leake, so have to be careful with him. Mark Canha rounds out the 9 for the A's.
First pitch on the way from Leake. Missing for ball 1. Tonight marks start number 10 for Leake on the season, an even 6 earned run average. And for Mike, really 2 starts ago, his best start, that was in Toronto on the previous road trip. 2 runs over 7, 6 strikeouts. Everything away 3-0.
Fastball, cutter, slider, curve, changeup for Mike Leake. His average fastball 89 miles an hour.
Joyce looks like he got jammed a little bit. Pulls this foul. Full count.
And then for Mike, 4 wins on the year, looking for his 5th here tonight. Aaron mentioned it, a 6 ERA. In 51 innings, he has 34 strikeouts, just 16 walks. And the defense, Guillermo Heredia getting the start in center field. Gordon Beckham, news of D. Gordon will be back at second base. Mike Zunino is doing the catching.
Back in April for Mike Leake, a quality start against these A's, 3 runs over 6. Ground ball off the right side of the mound. Segura completes the throw for out number 1. So Leake works himself back from a 3-0 count to get the first out of the first inning.
Heading in the second position, the shortstop, number 10.
I'll bring up shortstop Marcus Semien. Semien, a local product, played his college ball not far at all from here at Cal. Pac-12 guy. With Joyce behind 2-0. Well, there are not many teams in the game right now, at least in the American League, with much more offensive momentum than the A's. They're coming off a 4-game sweep in Toronto against the Blue Jays. Out to Seager, gobbles it up. Both starters so far keeping things on the ground. Overall for Bob Melvin, a 7-3 East Coast trip. Boston, New York, Toronto. And most impressively, they homered in each game of that trip, and it wasn't just a home run a game. They homered 19 times in 10 games.
41 extra base hits. When you look at their numbers overall, they are 4th in runs scored in the American League, 3rd in doubles, 5th in home runs, 4th in slugging.
Most wins on a road trip since 2014 as Lowry digs in. Now, the interesting thing about those numbers here, we're singing their praises for good reason about the road trip. No team in the majors has hit more homers on the road than the A's, but at the same time, no team has hit fewer home runs in their home ballpark than the A's. Mike, I know you have played many games here. You can account to how tough it can be to hit it out when the sun goes down.
Well, cloudy day today. We mentioned the breeze that's blowing. It looks like it's blowing in from right field. Probably, 59 degrees here at game time. It's a cool evening. Ball's not going to carry.
And to illustrate it even further, on the season for the A's, nearly 80% of their home runs have come on the road. Near the line, and the former A, Ryan Healy, right there. Side retired in order. We go to the second, scoreless. Queen Casino presenting R&B's Kenny Babyface Edmonds June 22nd. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. By Safeco Insurance, final local agent at safeco.com. Do more. And by your local Ford stores. Good look earlier today, the Bay Bridge. Mariners beginning a 3-game series here inside the Oakland Coliseum. And Seager looks at strike one.
Nelson Cruz has been out of the lineup the last couple of games, so Kyle has hit cleanup. Not a bad idea.
Chapman was swung over near the bag at second.
Good numbers against Cahill, 5 for 10 with a couple of home runs.
We take on today, brought to you by AARP. Kyle Seager, good numbers. Over 10 at-bats against Trevor Cahill. A couple of doubles, a couple of home runs as well. The 0-2.
I think some good news. Had a chance to watch the guys take batting practice today, and it was good to see Nelson Cruz in the cage taking batting practice. Of course, he was hit on his elbow a few days ago.
High lift the opposite way. Canna, who has the hunting gear on once again, makes the catch. Seager is out number one. This is very much a thing if you missed it earlier.
Yeah.
Well, he said it's just under 60 degrees here tonight, and when the A's were last in town, it was still a little cool in Seattle at that time, but I believe when we last saw mark with the gator on. It was 63. But,
yep,
you know, there are hits in that,
right.
Mike.
Yeah, there are hits.
Strike one to Ryan Healy. Healy, third-round pick by the A's back in 2013 out of Oregon.
I believe prior to the game, Canna lets his fans
yes,
know.
You know, and as soon as I saw that, as this finds grass on left field, Healy a one-out single. As soon as we saw that, Mike, I shamed myself mentally that my prep did not include a Canna's Twitter page. We would have known. We would not have been surprised.
And the Mariners' first base hit of the night. Ryan Healy playing against his former team.
Brings up the DH, Daniel Vogelbach. Like, I'm not sure how much things can carry over from one stint to another the same season for a young player like Vogelbach. But last time we saw Vogelbach inside a major league batter's box, everything was busting inside on him and he was having a hard time with it.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's something that he went and thought about. I'm sure it's something that they talked to him about when they sent him out, to be aware of it, and probably even a few things to work on. So we'll see what happens this time around. But that part of the scouting report is not going to change until he shows them he can handle that. He's playing well in Tacoma, hitting .301 at 9 home runs.
Slaps this foul, 1-2. He's batting here with 1 out and 1 on. It's Healy at first base. We were talking about Nelson's elbow.
Yeah.
And Nelly has essentially vowed to all that he will be in the lineup tomorrow. Wanted to play today. Scott seeing it wise to give him another day. Stings this into center field for a base hit. A couple of men aboard. First and second with 1 out.
Well, if Nelson says he's in the lineup tomorrow, I'm assuming that he will be, and that was probably part of the negotiation that they had today. Solid line drive base hit for Daniel. Oh, speed pitch. Looks like the changeup, 84 miles an hour, out in front of it a little bit, but doesn't roll over on it, and lines it right back up the middle. Pretty good pitch too. That was down on the outside corner.
Two men aboard for Zunino. Right at the knees, ball 1 though. You were talking about ground ball rates earlier, Mike. Fastball changeup for Cahill. You have to figure in this situation he's trying to dial one of those up.
You can see the first 2 pitches at the bottom of the strike zone or just below it, trying to get him to chase it.
It's an inside. Zunino ahead 3-0.
Something that's been different with Cahill too is behind in the count 2-0, and he comes back with a changeup. And he has shown this year that is what he's going to do. He'll throw his changeup a lot, even if he's behind.
I'm going to believe the numbers when you look at behind the count pitch usage for Cahill. A changeup well over 40% of the time, and in fact almost beginning to push 50% of the time.
50%, yeah. There's a lot of confidence in it, and we mentioned the numbers earlier. Opponents hitting .091 against the slugging .182. So a lot of confidence in the changeup.
Up the middle to Semien. Tough luck for Zunino.
Bad luck for the Mariners. right on the outside corner. Solid line drive.
Fielder, number 16, Ben Gamel.
Pretty good base running by Healy, knowing exactly where Simeon was positioned. Sometimes that runner with the shortstop behind him will get caught off a second base, but it's a good read on his part. Good homestand for Ben.
Came up with his first home run of the season. Looks at a first pitch strike from Cahill. Now, Cahill is one of the few healthy starting pitchers for Bob Melvin right now, although he has spent time on the disabled list already this year. And when he has been healthy, he really has been, outside of Sean Manaea, the A's most effective starting pitcher. Mariners trying to get to him here in the second. Out to left. Canna adjusting to make the catch for out number 3. And the Mariners strand a couple of singles on the base paths. Olsen, cleanup hitting first baseman. And really, if you are a Mariners fan and you're wondering why in the world would Billy Beane trade away a young controllable player like Ryan Healy, who thumped 25 homers last year and hit for a good average as well. I think it's safe to say in large part, if not the main reason, is because of the man at the plate right now, Matt Olson. Olson had really a breakout September more than anything last year.
Hitting .238 this year, but 7 home runs for him.
Last September, Olson hit 13 homers, including homering in 5 consecutive games.
Yeah, so they had some talent at first base. In the deal, they picked up a pretty good reliever, Emilio Pagan, who was with the Mariners. They liked him a lot.
Over towards the shift. Beckham scampering, backhand, throw to first in time for out number 1. All right, now let's go back to the Ford Sports Desk. Angie, what's happening?
Batting fifth, third baseman, number 26, Matt Chapman.
You nailed it, Ange. Yep, Goldie with a Y in this instance. Thank you. First pitch strike to Chapman. Chapman coming off a fantastic 4-game series in Toronto, 7 for 13, including 5 extra base hits.
Another one of the young players off to a solid start this year, hitting .254 with 8 home runs. Very good defensive third baseman.
Ten games of that road trip. Chapman hitting well over .380. Actually got his first day off on that road trip. Did play in all 10 games, but did not start one of them. Came in late for defensive purposes, so maybe not a full day off after all. But he's been on the lineup card every day for Bob Melvin so far this year, except for that one time. Seager gets it and gets rid of it. 2 outs. Now join us at Safeco Field for the upcoming holiday weekend, and for a limited time take advantage of our flash sale. Get $10 center field bleacher seats to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday's game. Hurry, the Mariners flash sale ends tomorrow at 2 p.m. Tickets at mariners.com/flash. Memorial Day, hope to see you there, especially 1:10 the first pitch on Monday against the Rangers. Strike one to Piscotty. For Piscotty, you probably know his story well by now. It has been one of the most talked about storylines in baseball this year. His dear mother Gretchen passing away because of ALS not long ago, went on the bereavement list after her passing. Actually homered in his first at bat after being activated. That was at Fenway Park on the recent road trip, and played a Beckham for round number 3. 6 up, 6 down so far for Mike Leake. The part as they ride here in the Bay Area. First pitch strike to Gordon Beckham. Batting ninth. Quickly 0-2. Chapman at third base, taking his time. On a ground ball out, it's no surprise so far from Trevor Cahill, who has faced the order one time through now.
Now batting, number 2, Gene Segura.
That brings up Segura, who grounded out to begin the ball game. We've talked about over the course of this season how well the Mariners have played on the road this year. They are 15-9 on the road so far this season. And I guess it probably does not come as much surprise that they have been one of the best hitting road teams in the majors. They're batting .271 on the road. That's tied for the 3rd highest mark in the major leagues. Angels so far have played fairly significantly fewer games on the road than the Mariners, but nonetheless batting 20 points higher than the Mariners. Now a little bit of a mist has overtaken the Coliseum. Chapman, a busy man so far, throws in stride. 2 outs. Mike, we were talking about Cahill behind in the count, the changeup 46%.
And in the past, it's always been the two-seam fastball. He knew exactly what he was going to do, but mixing it up this year and start of today at 2.79 ERA for him, in large part because he's able to throw the changeup to get back into counts. He doesn't have to give in to the hitters with the fastball.
Now his best start this year was his first start for the A's. That was against the White Sox. 7 scoreless, 8 strikeouts. Of course, the White Sox really struggling this year, rebuilding. Well, since that time, 4 starts since his first start of the season. Has spent some time on the disabled list. He's got between 5 and 6 innings, never more than 3 earned runs. So has not pitched especially deep, but also hasn't had a lot of damage dealt against him. The 0-2 to Heredia. Strikes. Changeup gets Guillermo. First strikeout tonight for Trevor Cahill. Mariners and the Athletics scoreless. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher, leads it off for the A's. Mike Leake in a nice rhythm so far. 6 up, 6 down, plenty of ground ball outs. Speaking of that, second pitch of the inning finds Seager for out number 1. Now there's fun for the entire family at Safeco Field on Sunday. All kids 14 and under will receive a Mike Zunino lunch bag courtesy of Aquafina. Then following the game, all fans will be able to watch the classic baseball movie The Sandlot on Mariners Vision. Log on to mariners.com for seats. Well, that'll be a great day at the yard. Twins coming to town. One out for Dustin Fowler, the young center fielder. Of course, it was Fowler who last year had the, you don't say this often, the heartbreaking major league debut. He came in Chicago as a member of the Yankees. 2 outs. It was in the first inning when he was chasing a fly ball over towards foul territory, and as any young player would, especially one making his major league debut, it is full speed ahead. He went crashing into the side retaining wall, severely injured his knee, required surgery, had to go on the disabled list, missed the rest of the season, and that summer was traded to the A's in the Sonny Gray deal. And now back at it, hit his first big league home run on the recent road trip in Toronto.
We've been talking about Trevor Cahill and his ability to pitch down in the zone, keep the ball on the ground, but it's been Mike Leake. 8 batters. He has retired 7 ground ball outs.
And ahead of Canna 0-2.
Can't imagine when you mentioned Fowler, what his teammates, Joe Girardi, the time his manager, what they were all thinking and feeling to see that young man getting an opportunity, a dream of a lifetime, and in his first game that happens to him.
I can tell you, I can still remember Girardi post game because Fowler was a major prospect.
Right.
Girardi was in tears. I mean, he was truly tearing up. And to center field, first man aboard after 8 in a row sat down by Leake. Canna a 2-out single. And obviously the fear that Fowler must have had, and spoke about it, a young man who relies a great deal on his speed. Curious if he would be able to play to that same level ever again, if not even play again.
I'm not sure if it has changed. I doubt that it has, but the conversation that he had with his surgeon that was going to fix his knee is also one that you'll never forget, because here's a young man, tears his knee up. I did the same thing when I was with the Dodgers, but I'd been in the league. I'd been around for a while, and the doctor will tell you, we're going to see if we can get you to walk normal again, and then maybe down the road possibly you can run and do some things. That's what they'll tell you. Now today it probably has changed. It's been a long time, but that being said, all those thoughts go through your mind when you're dealing with something like that, especially if you're a young man.
Is that when you said to your surgeon, hey doc, you want to work on your bedside manner a little bit? Thanks for the honesty.
I think what I said is, you're kidding.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But Fowler, a major piece of the puzzle for the A's moving forward.
Well, it's a lot of work to get back onto the field, so good for him.
Two outs, Canna at first base, Joyce for the second time tonight. Another ground ball. Segura swung over in the shift. Leake has faced just 1 over the minimum through 3 innings. We remain scoreless. Look at our Coors Banquet timeless moment. Back on this day in 2004, the A's retiring Reggie Jackson's number 9. One of the all-time greats, winning 3 World Series with the A's, 3 consecutive World Series, unanimous MVP in '73. As Haniger begins the 4th inning for the Mariners. Haniger grounded out to shortstop back in the 1st. Mike, I was looking at some Reggie Jackson stuff today. I noticed that he was the 2nd overall pick in the draft, which of course begs the obvious question:
who was number 1?
Who's better than Reggie Jackson? Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a gentleman. This gets Haniger. It looks to be okay. It looked like that might have got him in the hand, but it doesn't seem too worse for the wearer.
Hand or wrist on an 0-2 pitch. First couple of pitches were down and away from him, and then he's just trying to move him off the plate, and that is on the wrist.
Now batting, number 15, Kyle Seager.
Primero Supermo.
So Haniger aboard. Leadoff hit batter brings up Seager. Mike, Stephen Chilcott was the number 1 overall pick in 1966 by the New York Metropolitans, and he is the first ever player to be drafted number 1 overall and not make the show.
Really?
Now I believe
was he a pitcher?
He was a position player.
Position player.
Now Mark Appel was taken number 1 overall out of Stanford by the Astros, was eventually traded to the Phillies in the Ken Giles deal, and has since announced his retirement. Appel became, I believe, the 2nd player ever to be taken number 1 overall and not make the major leagues. So here's hoping that Stephen Chilcott found a very lucrative 9-to-5 job after retiring from the minor leagues, and he will always be known as the guy drafted in front of Reggie Jackson.
I'm sure he has talked about that before.
Seager behind. Lowry at second base, spins, throw to first, not in time. Haniger erased, Seager aboard. We'll take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next tomorrow on the air at 6:30. Marco Gonzalez making his 10th start of the season. A's just announced today Daniel Gossett will be getting the start tomorrow. He's had a tough start to his season, only 2 starts, and then was sent down to AAA. He'll be recalled. He has given up his fair share of runs, 9 in fact, over just 7 1/3 innings so far this year. This is a very depleted rotation for Bob Melvin.
Ryan Healy with one of the 2 hits for the Mariners, had a base hit back up the middle his first time up.
Now, Mike, going back to that fielder's choice we just saw, with Chapman, the third baseman, covering second base, would you have enjoyed that element of the game if you were playing today? Knowing that at third base you could be playing anywhere in the shift.
I think so, and I think that most third basemen would like it, because most of them have been converted to third base. Not all of them, but most of them played shortstop probably when they were in high school, maybe even in college. And so it's kind of fun to turn the double play every now and then.
Now, Josh Donaldson, former MVP, was talking about this the other day, and he said, listen, I completely understand the numbers. I like numbers. I get it. The shift is what it is. Everybody's using it. But he said, half the time I don't even feel like a third baseman, because I'm swung over on the right side.
Yeah,
I'm the only guy on the left side. I'm playing deep short.
Yep. And I think from what I can remember, they probably move him around a little bit more too, depending on the score, the count, runners on, whether he's going to stay on the left side of the infield or they move him over to the right side.
I think he's one of the few third basemen, at least that I can think of, that from time to time will move over on the other side of the infield. The 2-2 to Healy. Ground ball to Semien. Lowry on to first. Double play. Everything on the ground from both starting pitchers so far tonight. Insurance, find a local agent at Safeco.com. Do more. And by CHI Franciscan Health, the Mariners' official partner in health. Get your guide to living Northwest healthy at nwhealthy.org/Mariners. Tonight in Oakland, the first of three. Brief road trip for the Mariners and coming right back home. Semien on the first pitch into left field. Only the second hit tonight for the A's. Both have been singles.
Now batting second baseman, number 8, Jed Lowry.
That brings up Jed Lowry. What a start to the season for Lowry. Now, last year, a club record 49 doubles. Enters tonight batting .320. He has cooled down a little bit, but still a very high average.
9 home runs, 37 RBIs.
That's worth noting. It's not just hitting for average. Plenty of power to go along with it. Barely missing ball one. Semien 4 steals and 6 tries this year. Rare 3-0 count now. Well, how about this? Largest increase, speaking of power, in OPS from last year to this in the majors. And Jet Lowry is in there with a couple of the best hitters in the game right now, Mookie Betts and Manny Machado. Three and one.
Mike has kept the infielders busy so far this evening. So we can get another ground ball, maybe a double play.
And last year he was one of the best ground ball pitchers in baseball. Has not been to quite the same level this year so far. A lead for Marcus Semien. A long hold to 3-1. Ooh, called a strike. Ted will have to go pick that one back up. He's shaking his head. You can see the tracer, though.
I think it's a pretty good pitch. Mike helping him out, but it's on the outside corner.
Semien taken off the plate, spiked in the dirt off of Seager's glove. Semien to second, Lowry at first.
Yeah, just trying to do a little too much on the play. I think Mike knew that the runner was going. Semien was taking off with the pitch. The ball was hit right back to him, and he looks, and then I think he realized he wasn't going to have a play, tried to hold on to it, still had time to get the runner at first, but slipped out of his hand. He's going to take a look. Right there realizes that he doesn't have a play, tries to stop the throwing motion, and just spikes it.
An error on Leake. First time the A's have had him at second base. They've got some power at the plate of Matt Olson, who looks at ball one. And the rain picking up once again here at the Coliseum. Jammed him 2-0. Excuse me, 1-1. The middle center field base hit. Semien held at third base. Heredia gets to it quickly. A strong throw in. Nobody out. Bases loaded.
Solid base hit back up the middle. Matt Williams, the third base coach for the A's, holding Semien up almost immediately. Nobody out. It obviously knows about Heredia and his arm.
Now facing hot-hitting Matt Chapman.
Infield is playing back.
0-1. Chapman batting nearly .460 over his last 7 games, with 6 extra base hits in that stretch, including a home run. Batting here with the bases loaded and nobody out. Leak ahead, a ball and 2 strikes.
He has struggled hitting with runners in scoring position, just a .161 average for Chapman.
Not many situations in his young career with the bags packed. In play, up the middle. Segura a step on second. They get 2 out of it. Simeon scores. Well, the Mariners happy to exchange 2 outs for a run.
And it's the reason why they had their infield back. Trying to stay away from the big inning.
Number 25, Steven Piscotti.
As Aaron mentioned, a couple of outs. They will give up the run.
Strike one to Piscotti. Levels out 1-1. Now Piscotti really made a name for himself a couple of years ago with the Cardinals when he hit .273 over 20 homers and 35 doubles. Seager about thigh high, sets, throws to complete the inning. Lowry is stranded. A run does score for the A's. They're on top through 4. Have grabbed the first run of this ball game. Drizzly night here in the Bay Area. Ball one to Vogelback. Daniel, as you remember, a sensational spring training, really forced the Mariners' hand. And such a good spring, began the season on the Mariners' opening day 25-man roster. And had what, I don't know, Mike, I don't think this is too bold of a statement, but I think it's fair to say he had one of the most impressive home runs in Safeco Field history. Is that fair?
I think that is fair.
It's
yes.
Kind of a big statement, but right above the bullseye of the Hit It Here Cafe.
Yeah. We're talking about teams pitching him inside, and his first at bat was a line drive base hit back up the middle. Like it was on the changeup.
Strike 3 called. A touch in, but it is strike 3. Consider yourself teed up on Saturday when the Mariners host the Twins at 7:10. The first 10,000 fans will receive a free T-shirt featuring speedy leadoff man D. Gordon. It's all brought to you by Alaska Airlines. Reserve your seats at mariners.com. First pitch to Zunino.
Mike had a chance to drive in a couple of runs his first at bat. Hit a line drive right at the shortstop for an out. With some bad luck.
Mike ahead of the count. Cahill's had some very efficient innings so far. Changeup 2-2.
Well, 64 pitches, 40 strikes for him so far. And he is mixing it up with his fastball and changeup. So he has a little cutter to go along with it too, right around 87, 88.
Back-to-back strikeouts looking.
He is dialing up the corners now. Back to the inside corner. Little run to the fastball.
Number 16, Ben Gamble.
Well, for Trevor Cahill, this is his second stint with the A's. He was originally a second-round draft pick way back in 2006 by Oakland. Gamble into left field, finds it for a base hit. 2-out single.
Ben starting to swing the bat much better lately.
Number 1, Gordon Beckham.
2 outs, a man aboard for Gordon Beckham. But Cahill, a California guy, Southern California guy, drafted out of high school by the A's. Drafted in the second round and gave up the chance to pitch, and really more than anything, attend Dartmouth. That's where he was planning on going to college.
And a look at the swing by Ben Gamble. Last 13 games, he's really been swinging well. Hitting .343.
Again. Cahill would go on to be an all-star for the A's. Was an all-star in 2010. And as seems to happen from time to time with the A's, after Cahill became an all-star, he was traded that winter. Traded to Arizona. In fact, coming over in part of that deal from the Diamondbacks to the Athletics was now Mariners reliever Ryan Cook. One and one.
Gamble with 1 stolen base on the year.
Mountain getting a little wet tonight with the rain. Looks like it's let up now, though. A little off and on. Chapman back a half step. Pumps a fastball across the grass for round number 3. Gamble is stranded. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Cascades, what a beautiful way to travel. Visit AmtrakCascades.com. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Cool night here in the Bay Area as Jonathan Lucroy leads it off. This is not necessarily a good sign at all. And Jeromine has taken over in right field for Mitch Haniger.
Haniger had been hit on his wrist earlier in the game. So hopefully precaution. Get some ice and wrap that wrist up.
On the hands and a foul ball. Back to Haniger being hit.
Primero Supermone, the two-seam fastball running in, 0-2 count. And he's trying to protect the outside part of the plate.
They get him a little up on the forearm, you think, Mike?
It looked like it.
Just above the wrist, which is you would think would be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Something like that, can it have a tendency to kind of tighten up over the course of a game?
Yeah, especially on a cool evening like it is right now. And again, if he's uncomfortable and you're not sure what's going on, you'll take him out of the game.
Finds the new guy. Romine curls over, makes the catch for out number 1. Well, we will find out more on Mitch Haniger. Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines coming up when this one is in the books.
Scott thinking enough with the injuries. Hopefully Nelson Cruz will be back in the lineup tomorrow.
Now, when Nelly was hit by that pitch, Mike, he wears the elbow pad for a reason, and yet that pitch found the space in between 2 pads on the elbow pad.
You see a lot with the shin guards for a catcher. They'll have that little crease when they bend their knees, and it's exposed. It's a small area, but yes, the baseball will find it. And for Nelson, the ball hit him on his elbow and just basically rolled back out to the mound. It was solid contact.
1-1 to Dustin Fowler. 1-2. We talked earlier about Fowler and being traded last summer, coming over from the Yankees in exchange for Sonny Gray. Well, just recently, Mike, on the last road trip for the A's, Fowler picked up his first major league hit off of Sonny Gray. Kind of funny how those things work out sometimes. Beckham heels on the grass. 2 outs.
I like that you were able to find that. Nice research.
On Sunday, June 3rd. Hey, Mike complimented me when the Mariners host the race. Aquafina, yes, is giving the kids 14 and under the opportunity to make backyard memories of their own with the free Mariners bat and ball set. Get tickets for the whole family at Mariners.com. That is a quality bat and ball set. Graces the Goldsmiths backyard. Can a drill?
Yes, I believe so. I think there's a message there. We talked about it with the Mariners. They've been hit more than anybody, and Mike's a veteran pitcher and gets a couple of outs. Hits him in an area that he's not going to hurt him. Let's send a message. He just showed Haniger and him getting hit on the wrist.
Two outs. Canna aboard here is Joyce. Look back to first base, a little closer. Canna safe though. Mike, did that happen to you over your career when you are walking from the on deck circle to the batter's box and you're saying to yourself, I'm going to be the guy?
Yep.
Might as well not even have a bat. Into right field in front of Romine. Canna making the turn into third. The A's have runners on the corners.
Strong throw from Romine. Like a changeup down in the middle of the plate.
Now batting shortstop, and Marcus Semien.
A's getting a run in the fourth, threatening here in the fifth. Through the right side, base hit. Canna, who was hit by the pitch, comes around to score. It comes with 2 outs, and it's 2-0 Oakland.
And the A's are now 2 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Beckham was playing up the middle, trying to keep it on the infield, not able to do it. So a couple of quick outs. And the A's pick up another run.
Two outs, 2 on for Lowry. And a 2-out hit batter, costly for Leake and the Mariners. Ball 1 to Jed Lowry.
One of those tough things, Aaron, in this game, and obviously the most important thing is to do everything you possibly can to try to win the game, but at times you also feel that you have to protect your teammates. Unfortunately for Mike, ended up costing him a run right here, so hopefully he can make a pitch and get out of this inning.
Facing the A's best hitter so far this year. Breaks his bat. Easy roller out to Gordon Beckham to end the inning. A couple of men are stranded. Canada does score. And through 5, it's 2-0 Athletics. Starters, 5 scoreless so far and a few strikeouts sprinkled in.
They were expecting a lot of ground ball outs from him, and there has been that, but also see the run on his fastball, running it off the inside corner to Mike Zunino, the outside corner to Vogelback. Good command.
Facing the top of the order, Gene Segura. This will be Gene's 3rd ground ball out. Around the league, brought to you by Snoqualmie Casino. The Indians in their return to Wrigley Field since the World Series a couple of years ago, taking it to the Cubs 10-1. And how about Mookie Betts as the Red Sox double up the Rays? Mookie leading the majors now with 16 home runs. He and JD Martinez fighting for the top spot of the majors.
So that Mark Trumbo was having a good day. 4 for 4. A couple of doubles for him.
Former Mariner. Guillermo batting second in this one tonight. The 3-1. 1 out walk to Guillermo. Another score. Some interleague play tonight, Mike. In Houston, the Astros taking it to the Giants. Now, the only 2 runs for the Giants tonight, Mike. Pretty interesting storyline. Brandon Crawford homering off of his brother-in-law, Garrett Cole.
That'll make Thanksgiving fun.
Garrett meeting his now wife, Brandon's sister, in college at UCLA. Garrett Cole's wife, former softball player for the Bruins.
The changes to the lineup, because D. Gordon isn't in the lineup, Nelson Cruz out. But already getting a chance. You mentioned it earlier, Aaron, that he's hit second quite a bit. It's nothing new to him. But it really works out well as he takes off right here. Needs to hustle back.
Piscotty's throw, a little offline. Heredia back in.
But he came in today with an on-base percentage of .430. He's been taking his walks, along with swinging the bat well.
Sure.
He's really shown a lot of discipline with this opportunity to play every day. He was stealing, wasn't sure where the ball was right away. Good speed, hustles back, no problem.
Two outs, a man aboard for Kyle Seager. On the ground, backhand Olsen. An easy trip to first to end the top of the 6th. Heredia is stranded. We go to the home half. A's on top. Well, hey, here's some good news. Sriracha Night returns. It is all set for Thursday, May 31st. This ticket special includes a game ticket, Mariners Sriracha t-shirt, and a voucher good for one Sriracha menu item. Choose from Sriracha flavored pizza, hot dogs, donuts, and much more. Tickets are available only at mariners.com/Sriracha. 2 balls and no strikes to Matt Olson, leading off the home 6th. Towards the point of the shift, Beckham is there out of the outfield grass. 1 down.
Mike is really throwing the ball well tonight. A lot of ground ball outs.
Now batting third baseman.
Quality first pitch strikes for him. One things about the A's is they strike out a lot, so you can expand the strike zone if you're able to work ahead. And he's done a nice job of working ahead.
Thing you would really like to take advantage of tonight, Mike, and we'll see about tomorrow. No Chris Davis in this lineup for the A's.
And he typically in a series hurts the Mariners, so good to see him out of the lineup.
Dealing with a groin injury. Davis was scheduled for an MRI today, right at the time when Bob Melvin spoke to the media, so no one will know the results, at least no one outside of the A's clubhouse, until post-game. But Davis felt something tweak on Sunday in Toronto, was pulled from the game.
So both teams without their cleanup hitters.
Really, as you were just describing kind of the DNA of how this A's team is offensively, this is an athletics team that in some ways is kind of built around the home run ball.
A lot of ways.
Strike 3 called. Chapman caught looking. Is out number 2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners.
They are 5th in the American League in home runs, 3rd in doubles.
Scotty out to center, right in line with Heredia. Pretty quick bottom of the 6th for Mike Leake.
All right, fans, this is MLB Network's Matt Vasgersian here with another
military and vets by sharing a photo or video using hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each tweet or post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans. Still some rain coming down here in Oakland. Where next door, the Rockets have won. There is room inside the ballpark to hold some overflow from Oracle. Should some fans want to double dip. Healy, a sky out to left field. Canna in front of the track. Quick out number 1.
Now batting.
And he just missed it. Breaking ball right in the middle of the plate. Skied it out to left field. Mentioned it's breezy, so he wasn't sure, but it was caught right in front of the warning track.
Here's Vogelback. Looking at ball 1. Nelly's still trying to come back from a very dinged up elbow. Hopefully we'll be seeing Nelson Cruz tomorrow night.
Yeah. And for the Mariners, 7th inning or later, they're usually pretty good.
You're right.
Hopefully offensively they can get something going. Although one of their best is now out of the game in Mitch Haniger. Start of the game was hit on the wrist and replaced by Romine.
This really is kind of the when it rains it pours type thing for the Mariners. All the injuries that have stacked up all of a sudden. There's been a lot for Scott Service to manage. 2 out walk to Vogelback. He reaches for the second time. Pardon me, a 1 out walk. 1 out, 1 on for Zunino.
Number 3, Mike Zunino.
Mike, a hard line drive out his first time up, then a strikeout looking back in the 5th. He's a tying run. Away from Lucroy. Vogelback easily takes second.
Wild pitch.
Now for the Mariners, only the second time tonight they've had a runner in scoring position, and the first time since the 2nd inning.
0 for 2 with runners in scoring position tonight.
Here comes the 1-2. Inside.
Mike has 6 home runs on the year.
Now full count. Ben Gamble on deck. Ben Gamel, as he's known around the Coliseum. Here comes the 3-2. This is lined out to left field. Does it have the height? It's onto the steps. Gone. Home run. Zunino ties this game with one swing in the 7th.
Was able to get the count full and was looking for a fastball. They tried to go to the outside corner. It's going to end up in the middle of the plate, and he lines it over the fence in left.
Anytime you can homer off a staircase, it's a good night.
It is a good night. I wasn't sure, like you were, that it was going to be high enough. Line drive.
But it was either going to knock down the wall or be just over it. Strike one to Gamble.
And a look at it, Primera Supermo, and the swing by Mike right in the middle of the plate.
Try to check 0-2.
I think tomorrow I will get Edgar's thoughts on why this club scores late in ball games. Today's a little bit different because it's still the starter that's out there, but it's typically against some pretty good bullpens. They can swing it. We'll talk to him tomorrow about it, see what he has to say.
I think that'll be a very interesting conversation, and regardless of the answer that Edgar has, I think it kind of just speaks to what this team has done all season long, right?
Yeah.
This is a team that has just kind of refused to give in. We saw it the final game of the homestand. Now the Mariners were being no hit. They could get hardly anything going at all. They were no hit into the 7th. And at one point, Liriano retired 16 in a row. Chopped off the plate. Cahill's got it. 2 outs. And yet the Mariners not only were able to tie it up in the 9th, they were able to win it in 11.
Now batting, number 1.
Which we're more than a quarter of the way through the season now. So you mentioned it's been something that's been going on just about all year for him.
Trevino getting loose. You know, Mike, a player's perspective is interesting on this because it was so easy for us to say things like this team never quits, this team never gives in. I mean, all the cliches that I'm sure any team at a certain point of the season you could say the same thing about. But what none of us know, only guys who know it are those in the dugout and in the clubhouse, is kind of what that feeling is when they look at each other and they say, hey, this is not going to be a big deal.
I think there are a number of keys. One, you obviously have to have talent, which they have. They have a number of guys that can swing the bats. There's no question. I think the other part about it is you have to go out and you have to make that happen a couple of times, because then you know you can do it, which they were able to do early in the season, and they just built off of that. And the last thing is a lot of conversation in that dugout in between at bats, talking about what's going on in the game, and caring about what's happening in the game. You get all those things moving in that direction for you as a unit. That's pretty strong. See right now the two of them talking about their at bats.
Slicing out to right center. Fowler in front of the track. Beckham is out number 3, but damage dealt by the Mariners, and Mike Zunino, his 7th on the season, a screamer. 2-run shot to tie this game as we stretch. Stretch your imagination with Washington's lottery. Play today. Good look at the Golden Gate Bridge. Tonight, the first of three, the Mariners and the A's from inside the Coliseum. Take a look at the Mariners calendar. Tomorrow and Thursday, then that's it for this road trip. Mariners are back home for a lengthy homestand. LaCroix fouls off the first pitch.
Pazos and Vincent both getting loose in the pen. Mike Leake now at 88 pitches, 55 strikes.
Oh, 2. Chasing after it. There's out number 1. First strikeout tonight for Leake. Pardon me, the second.
A lot of ground ball outs.
Now batting,
good to see.
Number 11, Dustin Fowler.
Brings up Dustin Fowler.
So it's a slider down and away. Gets him to chase it.
Fowler a couple of ground ball outs tonight. You know, we were talking and singing the praises of the A's after that 7-3 road trip where they hit 19 home runs in 10 games. But the offense here at home for Bob Melvin and company has been a stark contrast to that on the road. The 6-game homestand that preceded that road trip, the A's scored 2 runs or fewer in 5 of the 6 games, and they failed to homer in the final 4 games of that homestand. Meanwhile, it was home run derby for the A's when they went out east. Now, I think, Mike, no matter how your team is set up, if they are a home run happy team or not, I think any team in the American League West would enjoy a week and a half of playing in some smaller yards out there in the American League East.
Sure. It's been tough playing in the division, American League West. 4 of the 5 teams over 500.
Strike 3 called right on the edge. Back-to-back punch outs.
Set up on the outside corner.
Now batting, left fielder, number 20, Mark Canna.
2 outs for Canna. I mean, it is amazing. You look at the A's. They are a Major League best 12-4 against the American League East. Meanwhile, they are 9-17 within their own division.
Mariners are 9-9 in the West.
Just inside the bag. Canna digging for 2. Omine gets it over by the bullpen. 2-out double for Canna. He's reached all 3 times.
A little cut fastball. Probably off the plate. Hit it off the end of the bat. And
Number 23.
it's just fair.
Designated hitter, Matt Joyce.
Got service out of the dugout.
Got a pitching change. Go ahead, run. Now in scoring position. We'll step aside. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. The A's now have the go-ahead run in scoring position. Leake is done for the day. Mike, he goes 6 2/3.
6 hits, a couple of runs, one of them earned. Didn't walk anybody, 3 strikeouts, 98 pitches, 63 strikes overall. He is responsible for the runner at second.
Our Beacon Plumbing call to the pen. As hard-throwing lefty James Pazos is up on the hill.
And for James, he has really pitched well this year. 17 appearances, a 1.5 ERA, 18 strikeouts, just 1 walk. Opponent's hitting 194. His fastball 95 to 97 miles an hour with a hard slider.
He will face a pinch hitter. Chad Pinder digs in. He bats for Joyce. Pinder nearly a .280 hitter on the season.
Nick Vincent still getting loose in the pen.
Pinder, very good numbers against lefties. 378. And it was Pinder on Saturday with the go-ahead 8th inning 2-out grand slam for the A's. Canna at second after the double. He's the go-ahead run. 1-2.
Couple of late swings on the fastball. Last fastball 95 on the outside corner.
The 1-2 from Pazos. Strike 3 called. He rings him up with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and that ends the inning and ends the threat. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By BNSF, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. By Jack in the Box, try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family, only at Jack in the Box. And by Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. Busy night on Lombard Street. We are all tied going to the 8th. And a new pitcher up on the mound, pitching very well this year, Lou Trevino.
Great fastball at 97 miles an hour. cutter and changeup to go with it. 13 appearances. See the ERA. 15 strikeouts, 8 walks. He can get wild at times. 16 in the third. Opponent's hitting .217. He's yet to give up a home run this year.
He's walked at least one man in each of his last 4 appearances. The 1-1 makes it 1-2.
Another good fastball at 96.
Now, the only run that he has given up so far this year was against the Mariners. This is the 3rd series between these two teams. The first one taking place outside of Safeco Field. Mariners 4-2 on the season so far against the Athletics. Another 1-2. 1 down.
It's like a cut fastball, 93 miles an hour off the outside corner. Some late movement to it.
One down for Guillermo Heredia. Evens up 1-1. Cahill was awfully tough tonight. A lot of ground ball outs for the A's starter. Really, this will go down as one of his very best starts this year.
And he mixed it up. Fastball was good tonight. Had some sink to it. And the changeup.
It was a 2-run homer by Zunino in the 7th. Good count now, 3-1.
Heredia walked his last time up.
And he walks here. Good speed aboard with 1 down. MLB At Bat is your #1 Mariners app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get the Mariners home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and much more. Download MLB At Bat today. Second time up for Andrew Romine, taking over for Mitch Haniger, who was hit just above the wrist by a pitch. And some good news coming from the Mariners clubhouse. X-rays on Mitch are negative day to day.
It is very good news. I think if Haniger was hitting and Romine hitting in this spot now, already would just stay at first, but he might try to steal now with Romine hitting.
Checks a swing, goes 0-2. Now Guillermo 1 bag and 3 tries. The 0-2.
I think if Haniger was hitting, though, you give him a chance to hit the ball out of the ballpark or maybe in the gap.
Strike 3 called. 2 outs.
Trying to elevate the fastball, and it's actually right at the knees.
Kyle Seager.
Nick Vincent getting loose again in the pen.
2 outs here. Heredia aboard for Seager. Strike 1 inside corner. Guillermo, a 1-out walk. We mentioned the injuries to Bob Melvin's rotation. Down a couple of starters, and as a result, he has 9 more relievers to go to after Trevino. It is a 10-man bullpen tonight, and has been for a couple of days for the Athletics.
Well, in our notes, we have TBA pitching tomorrow and on Thursday. Now we know it's going to be Gossett that will pitch tomorrow.
Brett Anderson and Andrew Triggs both finding the DL after their most recent starts just a couple of days ago. 1-2. And the A's doing without the services of Jarrell Cotton for the entire season. Tommy John for a young pitcher that they are really hoping to have into the future. Hoping to have a bright future. Heredia, the go-ahead run at first base, 2 outs, top of the 8th. Strike 3 called. Kyle not happy about it. Lower inside corner. Trevino out of the bullpen, strikes out the side. right, thank you, Angie. Marcus Semien leads it off in the bottom of the 8th facing Pazos. It was Pazos who finished the 7th for the Mariners. First pitch, fair ball. Low backhand there by Seager. Good stretch by Healy. 1 pitch and 1 out.
Now batting second baseman.
That brings up second baseman Jed Lowry.
Jed Lowry.
Nick Vincent going to get loose again. This will be the 3rd time out in the pen for the Mariners. Matt Olson on deck. Cleanup hitter, left-handed hitter on deck.
Now how about this? Gareth Morgan, a 3-run shot. 118 off the bat, 484 feet. Now
that's impressive.
Now Cal League, you get a little jet stream going there maybe, but that is incredible. Which, by the way, I think this kind of underscores the point that all the advanced measurements that we see on a nightly basis in major league ballparks are there in the minors as well, which is pretty incredible.
It is.
They appeal on the check swing. He does not go.
We'll have to locate a fastball. Probably going to be away from him. Lowry with 9 home runs on the year.
Full count. Lowry, a guy for years, found it impossible staying healthy for a full season. Now, last couple of years, playing what at least feels like kind of his best baseball ever of his career. The 3-2. Romine drifts over right in front of the track. There's out number 2.
Now batting first baseman.
Here comes Matt Olson. Olson 1 for 3 tonight. 7 home runs on the season. Blake Trinan, the very hard throwing closer for the A's, getting loose. A closer who routinely works multiple innings. Missing, not by much, ball 1. I know we hear guys, Mike, talk all the time about not thinking home run, just thinking about hitting line drives, making hard contact. But late in the game, in a tight game like this, especially against better and better and better closers, are you thinking more and more, hey, if I could just get one to hit out?
I think early in the count, you're looking for something in a zone that you prefer, and you're going to have a very aggressive swing. You're going to turn it loose. And I think here in this at bat, the second pitch, which was a strike, was on the outer half of the plate. So early in the count, he's probably looking for a mistake inside.
He's got plenty of power. Bends him back.
So if this is middle to middle in, although he has tremendous power the other way too, but he'll be looking in the middle of the plate. Nick Vincent ready to go in the pen.
The opposite way, past Seager. Gamble all the way to the base of the wall. Olson gets a bag out of it.
Been talking about the rain, and for Ben, it looked as if he slipped, lost his footing in the outfield. He gets a fastball. It's in the middle of the plate. It's a fairly fast outfield. Gets out there quickly, and you can see the water, and then he just slips.
And they give that a double the whole way.
It's got service out of the dugout. Nick Vincent going to be in the ball game.
He'll step aside. Here on both sides, bottom of the eighth, 2 outs. Go ahead, run Olson at second base after the double. Pazos is out. Vincent is in to face Chapman.
Matt Chapman has been a hot hitter for the A's. Nick Vincent, 22 appearances on the year, a 4.26 ERA, 21 strikeouts in 19 innings. Opponent's hitting .275. His fastball at 90 miles an hour, cutter 87-88, and a slider.
First pitch to Chapman. Goes after it. Fly ball out to right field. Romine settles on the track, has space, and puts it away to end the 8th inning. Go ahead run, stranded in scoring position. Healy, Vogelback, Zunino all coming up. for Mike Leake, able to work into the 7th inning. Just 1 earned run, no walks as well.
Yeah, he really threw the ball well. You mentioned it. A lot of ground ball outs for Mike. 13 ground ball outs helped him. Had a double play, it turned behind them, but excellent command of the strike zone. Really pitched well. 1 earned run, 98 pitches, 63 strikes overall.
Well, the rain really starting to come down with a little more force now as we open up the 9th inning. Blake Treinen, the A's closer, is on to face Ryan Healy.
Fastball slider for Treinen. His average fastball this year, 97 miles an hour.
One and one. Ryan Healy, his first game back in the Coliseum after spending parts of the last 2 years with the A's. I have to think that Ryan played in some games like this in college in Eugene. Weather-wise, that is.
I would think so. Chapman, the third baseman, is right on the line.
This is drifting foul.
Aaron, you mentioned the rain. We already saw Ben Gamble slip and fall in the outfield, so the outfielders will have to be aware of that. And if you're a hitter, you have to understand that the ball will, if you hit a line drive, it's going to skip through the gap. And you need to run hard all the time, of course, but just in case somebody slips and falls down, you might pick up an extra base.
Pretty extreme home road split so far this year for Healy. Count levels out. The 2-2. Now number 1.
Fastball at 98 miles an hour. Goes right after him.
Number 20, Daniel Vogelbach.
1 down for Vogelbach. He's been on base twice tonight. Came around and scored on Zunino's home run in the 7th. Missing with 98. Pitch did not miss by much.
He's throwing 97, 98, and he has a lot of late movement to his fastball.
You're not supposed to have both.
Exactly.
Right?
But he does.
It was Treinen who was given the chance to close for the Nationals for a brief period of time. It did not work out. Eventually traded back to the team that originally drafted him in the A's. Ryan Madson and Sean Doolittle making their way over to DC from Oakland. And it is kind of perplexing given what we have seen from Treinen since coming to Oakland, how things did not work out for him in the 9th inning.
You're right. It's a special arm, and again with the late movement on 97, 98. It's tough to hit.
Full count. Zunino waiting on deck. He did damage back in the 7th. Trying to clearing out his spikes a little bit. Here comes the payoff. Line pulled foul. Looked like the guys in the bullpen were inside of an igloo. I think that was Ryan Cook over there.
Staying dry.
Another 3-2. Walked him. Vogelbach on base for the 3rd time, his 2nd walk. This takes us to our Columbia Bank difference of the game, and last time up for Mike Zunino, this happened.
Well, the Mariners, tough time getting anything going tonight, but a 2-run home run from Mike. Back in the 7th inning, that's been the Mariners' offense so far, his 7th home run on the year.
Strike 1. Well, Lucroy calling time.
Yeah, Edwin Diaz starting to get loose. Baseball ended up getting away from him and ended up in right field.
Foul away 0-2.
98 in on his hands.
Making sure Vogelbach's not going anywhere.
What's yours?
The 0-2 gets behind Lucroy. Vogelbach into second base. Go ahead, run in scoring position. And we have seen a couple of wild pitches tonight. Both times advancing Vogelbach first to second. The A's leading the majors by a pretty decent amount in wild pitches so far this year. Nobody's thrown more.
Well, something that the Mariners, I'm sure, went over in their meeting today.
Great weather you got.
The 1-2. Now, if anyone was managing on their couch and thinking, oh, maybe get a runner out there at second base, there isn't
Where?
one. That person doesn't exist. Nelson Cruz on the bench. David Freitas, backup catcher, on the bench. Romine has already come into this game after Haniger left, being hit by a pitch. Down on strikes. 2 outs.
Mariners are now 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position.
Number 16, Ben Gamble.
It's another good fastball. It is a strike. It's on the plate, probably just above the belt.
Nelly just wanted to feel like he's in the game here. Ball one to Gamble.
A bit surprised that they're pitching to him. First base open, a couple of outs, right-handed hitter waiting on deck. But Ben has been a hot hitter lately for the Mariners. Hitting well over 300 in his last 14 games.
Gets a piece back to the glove of Lucroy. 1-1. Go ahead run. Daniel Vogelbach at second base. Off the plate. Gamble ahead. Evens it up. And when you're throwing 96, I guess you can get away with the fastball that catches a lot of the plate.
Again, especially with the movement that he's getting on his fastball at 96 to 98 miles an hour.
Comes a 2-2. Slicing over towards the A's bullpen. Guys taking cover. Did we mention 10 relievers?
Crowded.
Here's Emilio Pagan, former Mariner. It looks like September in that bullpen. Another 2-2. Strike three called. Top shelf of the zone. Gamble disagrees. Go ahead run. Stranded in scoring position. He has been ejected. That came right at the end of the inning.
Wasn't happy with the last call to Ben Gamble. Thought it was up in the zone. It looked like it probably was on a breaking ball. Tossed him out from the dugout. And it's a long walk out to home plate here in the Coliseum.
You can see the home plate umpire. And there you go. Heave ho. So Scott done. And now run wins it for the A's. Piscotty looks at strike one from Vincent.
And that was one of the things we weren't sure what had happened. We thought possibly Gamble had been thrown out of the game, which you hate to lose your manager, but that would have been a worse situation for the Mariners because they just don't have the bodies right now, at least healthy ones, and not sure who would have played the outfield. So we knew that somebody was thrown out, and I guess fortunately it was Scott and not Ben.
Flattens out to Segura. Piscotty's out number one. Now both starters very effective in this one. 6 2/3 for Leake, just 1 earned run. Cahill 7 strong, 2 earned runs in total.
That's been well pitched across the board.
Takes us to a tied 9th inning. Strike one. Well, if we go back to the Gamble at bat to end the inning, ruled strike 3. Gamble thought it was a tad high. Brian Knight tossing Scott. Strike 3 called. Lower outside corner. Lucroy looked like he knew it right away.
Did not argue at all. It was a good cut fastball on the corner.
Now batting center fielder, number 11.
2 outs. That brings up Dustin Fowler. Starts him off strike 1.
Ryan Healy on the line at first. Trying to stay away from the double. Outfielders playing deep.
Ahead 0-2.
Manning in charge.
You can witness his trademark whistle there. I'm surprised the mics didn't pick it up. Mike's picked that up. 0-2 still. Opposite way. Gamble right in front of the track with 2 hands, puts it away and sends this game to the 10th. Well, we find ourselves in extra innings here tonight. The first of a 3-game series in Oakland, all tied at 2. How about tomorrow, though? It'll be Marco Gonzalez making his 10th start. Last time out, that was at home against the Tigers. Worked into the 6th inning. Just one unearned run in that start for Marco. Daniel Gossett will be making his 3rd start of the season, the former Clemson product. Being recalled from AAA. Here's Mero Petit up on the mound to work the 10th for Bob Melvin.
22 appearances, 3.5 ERA, 18 strikeouts, over 5 walks. Opponent's hitting .268. He's given up a couple of home runs.
Facing Gordon Beckham.
Fastball, cutter, curve, changeup. His average fastball 89 miles an hour. It's not overpowering, but he will mix it up.
Now, there was a time earlier this season in April where the Mariners were working with in the neighborhood between 3 and 4 starters in their lineup out because of injury. And tonight's game right now has almost that exact same look. Haniger out of this ball game after being hit by a pitch. X-rays negative on his wrist. He's day-to-day. That's good news. Nicasio getting loose. Of course, D. Gordon being placed on the disabled list today because of a fractured toe. Scott Service saying he does not think it'll be more than 10 days needed. Strike 3 called. Nelson Cruz dealing with the ailing elbow. He believes he'll be able to play tomorrow. He's missing his 2nd straight game after being hit in the elbow by a pitch. 1 out, nobody on for Segura. Ball 1. The rain is back and has been off and on all night. Behind the count. Right at the knees.
Seems that tonight, for whatever reason, Segura taking more pitches than usual. Usually he's fairly aggressive at the plate.
Well, if he takes 3, that would be more than usual.
I suppose that's true.
It was Segura who won it in the 11th for the Mariners on Sunday. The 2-2. Little flick dropping into right field for a base hit. 1 out and 1 on.
He is amazing. He gets a base hit on a pitch that is well off the plate and probably down.
Yep.
Now batting.
Just another hit.
Guillermo Heredia.
It's a breaking ball going away from him. Heredia has been on a couple of times. 2 walks for him. 0 for 2 in the game.
He's batting now with the go-ahead run with pretty good speed over at first base. Keep an eye on him. Diaz now getting loose. Nicasio we saw warming up earlier.
I think Gene would normally try to steal, but probably it's going to come down to the track at this point. We've had some rain tonight. Not sure what the conditions of the field are.
on Guillermo. This field's been taking a pretty good amount of rain. It has been raining off and on since the early innings. What kind of began as almost just a mist has certainly picked up in volume. This is an A's bullpen that has been susceptible at times this year, and of course what bullpen hasn't. But you look at the numbers for Athletics relievers this year, giving up the 6th most home runs of any bullpen. Really pretty high whip as well. Have let more men on base than they would like. Well, Gene thinking about it over there.
He was trying to time him. Took off a little bit early.
Really, although you wouldn't be able to tell from tonight because the bullpen of Trevino, Trinan, and right now Petit has really carved through the Mariners in terms of strikeouts. But they have been one of the lowest strikeout rate bullpens in the majors, 29th in fact.
Well, they just saw their 2 best arms. Both of them were throwing 97.
And both those guys struck out the side, with a walk sprinkled in for each of them. So, Mike, you're saying it gets easier?
It's not going to be as difficult, I think. Especially with Trinan.
Sure. Slicing to the gap, right center field. Fowler having a chase after it. Base of the track, now bobbled. Segura hits the bag at third. He's coming home. Lowry's throw, play at the plate. He is safe, and the Mariners have the lead in the 10th.
And hopefully he's okay. For Segura, he is running and trying to get to the plate. He can see the play. He knows there's going to be a play at the plate, and he dives in. Most of the time, you'd like to try to slide with your feet because the catcher has the shin guard, and it looked as if his shoulder slammed right into a shin guard of Lucroy, the catcher. See Brocious down the line, waving him home, and he'll take another peek right there. He knows there's going to be a play, so he's trying to dive to the outside part of the plate.
Now batting, number 7, Andrew Romine.
And hopefully he's okay.
Right into the foot and shin guard. Meanwhile, Heredia at second. Romine on the first pitch, gobbled up by Chapman. Low throw, cleaned up by Olson. 2 outs.
Now batting, number 15.
Maniacta taking over for Scott Service, who was ejected from this game. Two outs for Seager. Man, on a bang play at the plate, how big that bobble was by Fowler.
Well, that's the reason why Brocious sent him. I'm not sure that he would have until he saw the bobble, and then that's when he was moving down the line, and all of a sudden that's when you see his arm waving him home.
Hopefully Gene just shaking up on it.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 to Seager. Up the middle. Lowry lined up behind the bag to end the inning. Well, the Mariners have taken the lead. Segura scoring all the way from first base. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Time for Diaz. The lead. Heredia finds the gap out in right center, bobbled by Fowler, opens up the door for this play at the plate.
Left fielder, number 20.
We're concerned about Segura. Primera Supremo and the slide as he's diving in to get his hand to the plate. That's when he hits the shin guard. I was talking to you in the break. I had to wonder if maybe, as Diaz will take over, if he'd have been called out, if Maniacta would have argued that he was blocking the plate on him, but he was called safe. Edwin Diaz, 23 appearances, 15 saves, a 1.93 ERA, 40 strikeouts, 23 and a third. Opponent hitting just 117. And yes, plus fastball, 95 to 100.
Good to see Segura out there.
And it was his left shoulder bicep, I think, so shouldn't bother him to throw.
You remember it was Canna who took Diaz deep back at Safeco Field. It is Canna who leads it off in the 10th.
Good pitch.
Edwin thought it was an especially good pitch right there on the edge. To stay alive.
Well, he wanted to go back to the outside corner, but left it in the middle of the plate.
Now for the Mariners tonight, it was Zunino with the 2-run homer in the 7th. Heredia giving the Mariners their first lead of the night in the 10th. And now Diaz trying to nail down the final 3 outs. Healy. Full steam ahead, out of room. Little ball and 2 strikes.
One thing with Ryan, he is aware of where the fence is and where the bullpen mound is.
Again on 1-2. foul ball. Down on strikes. Slider gets him for out number 1.
He was able to get away with the previous pitch, which was a slider. It was in the middle of the plate. Can't have fouled it off, and now better location. 88 down off the plate, gets him to chase it.
That brings up Chad Pender. He began this game on the bench. Pinch hitting for Matt Joyce. Strikeout earlier. 0-1 off of Mike. Takes the mask clean off. I'll tell you what, if Diaz can nail this thing in the 10th, it will be ending just in time, Mike.
You're right.
It is really beginning to pour. Seager, what a snare at third for out number 2. That looked like it had a ticket to left field on it the entire way.
Well, Kyle liked it. Looked at it, it was almost past him. He was towards the line. Just great reaction. Another look at it. Ball actually started to come up, and he did it. He caught that behind him. That ball was past him, and still able to make the play.
1-0 to Marcus Semien. One.
Another look at Kyle.
'96 past him 1-2.
Expand the zone again. Go with the slider down out of the strike zone. Doesn't have to throw him a strike.
The 1-2. Fastball instead. Diaz looking to add on to his American League leading 15 saves.
14 pitches, 11 strikes from him.
Another 1-2. Line down by the pole, left field, and this is a foul ball. A little too close for comfort. A screamer foul.
Segura on his way into the mound, going to have a conversation with him. Fastball on the inside corner, elevated, clearly foul.
Semien talking location, something along those lines, Mike?
Yeah, making sure that it was a strike, which it was a strike on the inside corner. See if we go with the slider down and away now.
Got him swinging. Slider ends the ball game. What a come from behind win yet again for the Mariners.
Just well pitched game by the Mariners, starting with Mike Leake. He really threw the ball well. Just one earned run over the 6 2/3, and the bullpen took care of it. Mike Zunino, his 7th home run, a 2-run home run to tie it up. And Guillermo Heredia continues to play well. Hopefully Segura is going to be just fine.
Nice win for the Mariners to begin this 3-game road trip. Mariners post game presented by Alaska Airlines. Well, it begins right now. Bill, Angie, you guys, all yours.